Sri Gurubhyo Namaha. I welcome you all to our online teaching academy, Ekaleva. Let us move to our session today. So, in this part we are going to see about the respiratory system and circulatory system. Respiratory system. Respiration takes place in respiratory system and circulation of blood takes place in circulatory system. Respiration takes place through different organs like nose, windpipe, lungs, etc. And circulation happens in heart and in blood vessels. And this chapter gives an overview of what is respiratory system and what is circulatory system and what are all the organs that involves in respiration and circulation of blood. Okay. So, breathing is something that we do all the time unknowingly. Every person or every living thing on this earth has to breathe to be alive, and human breathe about 16,000 to 24,000 times per day. Breathing supplies oxygen and it sends out carbon dioxide. So, we breathe in oxygen and we give out carbon dioxide. Okay. So, is breathing and respiration same? No. So, breathing involves the process of inhalation and exhalation. So, breathing is the process of inhaling and exhaling air in and out through the nose. It takes place in lungs. So, breathing takes place in lungs. And respiration, the process of breaking down of glucose is actually called respiration. Respiration is nothing but the process of breaking down of glucose to produce energy, which takes place in all cells of the body. So, breathing and respiration are different. So, breathing, two different processes in breathing. One is inhalation, that is taking in oxygen, and the other is exhalation, that is giving out carbon dioxide. And breathing takes place in respiratory organs. So, we have different respiratory organs in our body. One is nose, and then windpipe, bronchi, and then lungs. So, the other name of windpipe is trachea. So, these are the respiratory organs: nose, windpipe, bronchi, and lungs. Let us see what is happening inside our respiratory system. So, when air enters the windpipe through the nose, it enters the lungs, which are located on either side of the chest. So, when air enters inside the nose, so nasal cavity, this is nose. So, when air enters inside the nose, it enters the lungs, which is present on either side. So, on both sides of our chest. And here the windpipe, the other name of windpipe is trachea. So, here the windpipe is divided into two small tubes, here one tube and here one tube. So, here the windpipe is divided into two small tubes called as bronchi, which enters into the lungs. Okay. So, when the inhaled oxygen is used up by the body, it is time to exhale, and during exhalation the carbon dioxide and other waste are released. So, during inhalation we inhale, that is we take in oxygen and we give out carbon dioxide. Okay. So, the air that we exhale or breathe out is warmer than the air we breathe. Do you know the reason why? Because it travels through our body and picks up heat along the way. So, that is the reason why the air we breathe out is warmer than the air we breathe in. So, I want to repeat the process of respiration. So, respiration is nothing but breathing, and respiration and breathing are different. Breathing is nothing but taking in oxygen and giving out carbon dioxide, that is inhalation and exhalation happening in breathing. And the respiration is something, the breaking down of glucose into energy that happens in all the cells. And during breathing we intake oxygen, and that travels through the windpipe or trachea, and this trachea is divided into two small tubes called as bronchi, which enters into the lung, and in lungs we inhalation and exhalation process takes place. Okay, so this is our respiratory system where the air enters inside our nose and it travels through trachea and enters inside the lungs. The trachea is divided into two small tubes called as bronchi, which enters into the lung. Here respiration takes place. Okay. So, respiration and breathing very important for us. So, to keep our lungs are very important for healthy respiration, that is breathing. So, to keep our lungs healthy we have to do these things, that is taking precautions against dust and pollution, and breathe through our nose and keep our nose and the nasal cavity clean, then keep our surroundings clean and green, which helps you to have a healthy lungs. And now we are going to see about the circulatory system. Circulation of blood takes place in circulatory system. The organs which are involving in the process of circulation are heart, blood and blood vessel. So, these are the three organs which involve in the process of circulation. And the main function of circulatory system is to regulate the flow of blood throughout the body. So, it regulates the flow of blood throughout the body, and it delivers nutrient and oxygen to all the cells in our body. It delivers nutrients and oxygen to all the cells in our body. Okay. Heart helps in pumping of blood. So that is why it is called as pumping organ. It pumps the blood, so it is called as pumping organ. So heart is a very strong muscle. So the organ heart is a very strong muscle. It works like a pumping machine. It pumps blood, and that is why it is called as pumping machine. And the left side of the heart receives blood from the body and pumps it to the lung. So we have 4 chambers in our heart. So we have 4 chambers, that is we have 4 chambers in our heart, that is right atrium, RA is right atrium, and left atrium, right ventricle and left ventricle. So these are the 4 chambers of heart. So heart is divided into 4 chambers: right atrium, left atrium, right ventricle and left ventricle, that is upper 2 chamber and lower 2 chamber. And the right side of the heart receives deoxygenated blood from the body. The right side of the heart receives deoxygenated blood from the body and pumps it to lungs for purification. The right side of the heart receives blood from the body and it pumps into the lungs for purification. And the purified blood enters into the left side of the heart, and from the left side it passes through all the parts of the body which carries oxygen. So the right side of the heart receives blood from the body and pumps it to the lungs, and the left side of the heart receives oxygen containing blood from the lungs and it passes to the other parts of the body. And the blood moves to all the parts of the body through a tube called artery, and we have many tubes like arteries and veins, and it carries blood and they are called as blood vessels. The blood moves through many tubes called as arteries and veins. Arteries and veins are collectively called as blood vessels. They carry blood to all the parts of the body. The arteries are red in color and veins are blue in color. These arteries carry oxygen rich blood, that is oxygenated blood. Arteries carry oxygenated blood and veins carry deoxygenated blood. So, we have different types of blood vessels called as arteries and veins. Arteries are red in color, which carries oxygenated blood, and veins are blue in color and they carry deoxygenated blood. Arteries, the blood vessels that carry oxygenated blood are called as artery except pulmonary artery. So, except pulmonary artery, all the other arteries carry oxygen rich blood. And the blood vessels that carry deoxygenated blood are called as vein except pulmonary vein. So, except pulmonary vein, all the veins carry deoxygenated blood. Okay. Now, let us see about the relation between inhaling, exhaling and circulation of blood. From the body, the deoxygenated blood enters the right side of the heart and pumps the blood into the lung for purification. As I told you already, from the body the deoxygenated blood enters into the right side of the heart, and from heart it pumps into the lungs for purification. In the lungs, blood is purified and oxygen rich blood enters into the left side of the heart. So, from the lungs, the oxygenated blood enters in the left side of the heart and sends it to the entire body, and carbon dioxide is removed through exhaling. Now, it is time for exhalation. So, carbon dioxide is removed through exhaling. On inhaling, fresh breath of air, that is oxygen, enters into a body, and this process starts again and keep on repeating. Okay. And I hope respiratory system and circulatory system is clear to you. To receive our online lessons, please press the subscribe button and you will receive the latest update. Thank you very much.